Back at it again, man. More stuff on my mind. This weekend has been pretty damn interesting, man, for a few reasons. I think this is the first weekend in maybe a year or a while in a long time, man, where I've done two outings over the because usually the weekdays are super busy. So I won't be doing usually the weekdays are super busy between me dealing with client stuff that I'm working with or dealing with stuff mixed in with my business, and then the weekends are times where I can really just lock in on my business, my entrepreneurship ventures, and personal development, those kind of things. Really lock in on those things. On the in the weekdays, you got the work. You work out. You still do the usually before I work, I do like mobility stuff and get your mind right, and wake up at a specific time and work on those kind of things. But the weekends, you can really have those moments since you have a little less going on, at least for me, to lock in on specific things. But this weekend was interesting, and even last weekend and the next weekend too, where just basically you could say life, but this is still very preventable. But there was an outing I had last week that I'd actually turned down for some people that I I work with outside of my personal business stuff, people I work with on when it comes to stuff in cyber. And I turned them down last week and said, you know what? I don't want to come off as I'm still feeling these people, I'm still feeling certain things out to see if these are individuals I would want to, develop that potential relationship to see, this could be a good relationship to build in the future, or maybe we don't align on certain things to where, maybe need a distance and, continue to do what I'm doing. But I'm still in that phase where I'm feeling them out. So I'm saying, maybe we do relate on certain things as far as some of these people, and I said, let's get to know them a little bit. But last week I was generally had stuff more important, more responsibilities that I felt were a higher priority. So I said, hey man, not this week. I actually wanted to dial in on some personal business stuff. To be specific, it was I wanted to get some systems as far as like my I used to do like a blog post, and I felt like I was slacking on that for a little bit. So I said I need to dial back in on that, figure out how I want to do this. Now that I have a understanding of the content that I want to do, because when I started doing blogs, it was like 4 years ago, and it was more of just in that still phase of figuring out what I wanted to specifically do outside of just the music and outside of the yeah, just outside of the music and that, like what do you represent, what is your mission, what is there to you outside of just the music and doing certain things within entertainment. Like what are you, what do you want to represent, that kind of stuff. So now that I'm in that position, it was setting some things up last week to make progress a little bit easier and working with somebody on that. Again, kind of we're still in that phase too where I'm building out a new team and working with people to get an idea of what works best with what I'm doing. But that aside, man, what got really kind of frustrating and a little bit of overwhelming is you get reminded plenty of times, especially when you're in a place you train yourself to be self-aware of progress you're making, training yourself to be self-aware of where am I right now, what am I doing, do I like where I'm at right now, what needs to change if anything, do I need to continue doing what I'm doing, what have I done so far and is that working, that kind of stuff. Basically just just temp checking yourself, making sure you're still doing what you want to do. And again, just stuff that really helps you in the long run. But it's you get this you get this reminder sometimes where you really have to be aggressive with your time, bro. You really have to be aggressive with your time. And you really have to value it in a sense where when you're managing, let's say we're just gonna come for an example. We're just gonna come for an example. Let's say you go to work, you have work, let's say you're also a business owner. Those are two full-time jobs if you're actually taking this stuff seriously. Those are two full-time jobs alone. So you have your 9 to 5, you come back, you have your 5 to whatever, however you do that. And you work on that. Then on top of that, you also, and a lot of people neglect this, but your health, that's number one, right? You can't do anything if you don't take care of your health. Make sure you get enough sleep. And everybody, ranges differently from that. I think somewhere between that 6 to 8 hour range. For me, I think I work best around 6.5. But your health, that's super important too. Then you have, and working out. So you got to make time for that. I do about 4 or 5 times a week, and calisthenics and mobility stuff, yoga, whatever, that kind of stuff. Then you have, personal relationships, relationships outside of your work, outside of your business. If you have your business, that's even another thing too. But you have personal relationships, like your actual, friends, people that maybe you met in, high school, a few people that you still keep up with, a few people. Not like you have some people that have, I don't know how they manage it, but you have some people that have like 10, 15 friends and all that. I don't know. For me, friends are, the word friend means something different than what some people would say. I really have to be locked in with you. We're keeping consistent communication. And in a way now, I was saying this is again how it makes it a lot easier to really see if this is somebody I'd be with talking to long term. Are we generally speaking moving towards similar goals? Are we similar in, what we're valuing? Similar. Don't have to agree on everything. But those kind of things, man. And you gotta maintain those relationships, right? To understand, yeah, you have, those people that, you rock with. And I feel like that's again another reason why we get along, because you have those people that you rock with and you don't necessarily always have to be talking to each other, but you might send a little message here, everything cool and all that kind of stuff. And it'll be weeks, sometimes months, you don't see each other in person, but you're still cool. And when you link up, it's cool. Because we're in that season right now where, we're figuring ourselves out, we're moving to our own specific goals, but we're moving and we still keep with each other. So you have those too. You have your family, right? You have that as well. And spiritual relationship. Some people, not necessarily spiritual or they have different beliefs, but my relationship with God, you have that as well. All these different things, man. All these different things. And sometimes, when you get, it's easy to get pulled in different directions. And it's funny, I'm doing music, I'm writing new music about this too, but that's something else. I mean, it's funny when you're getting pulled in different directions. If you aren't self-aware of those moments where, it's easy to slip off, you wake up and a few months pass, or weeks turn into months possibly turn into years, where it gets really bad. That's pretty crazy. But you wake up and you're saying, bro, hold on a second, man, what the hell is actually going on? I was saying that I was going to do X, Y, and Z, and now I'm over here doing other stuff, or I'm getting distracted because people want to go here, people want to go out to I don't want to say certain things right now because I don't know if thing with these videos, sometimes somehow the people that you didn't expect to see it. So I'm just not say certain things to not pointed at certain people. But you get invited to certain things, and then you're saying, bro, I really don't have the time for this right now. And you have to, it goes back to what I was saying. You really have to be aggressive with your time, bro, because you get into a season. It's easy when it's like middle school, high school, early college, where, most people in those cases are figuring out themselves. So they're more open and stuff. But when you figure out what the hell you want to do, it's almost what it feels like to me. I'm on a mission, bro. It feels like to me, I have an objective. I'm on a mission. We got to get these things done at a specific amount of time. When people say, "Oh yeah, yeah," but it's also important to have fun, and you don't want to miss out on certain things that you never want to experience. You're never going to experience again. Most of the stuff, bro, 95% of the stuff, if you understand balance, you're good. You're good. Because trust me, where if you're focused on the things that you want to be, the things that you want to have, and where you want to be physically, mentally, all that kind of stuff, you can have those experiences later. You can have those experiences later. It's not to say you cut off completely everything, because that's again what I was saying. You want to maintain some relationships. I think those are important too. I think those are very important too, and kind of can contribute to your mental health as well. At the end of the day, human beings, generally speaking, are naturally social creatures. So again, it's not saying that some people, I've said this multiple times, some people feel like it has to be one extreme or the other. I completely cut off everybody and it's just me, or I'm on the other side where, I can barely manage anything and I'm just all over the damn place. It's a balance, bro. It's a balance. That's all it is. But I right now, well, let me making this video, that it's kind of in this, kind of feel like in this moment where I said yesterday, I'm gonna have to do a 5 to 6 week cutoff where I'm just locked in. I hate to say locked in because that word has been used so much, it's almost like watered down now. It's like, oh, let's lock in, bro, and then you go back to doing some bullshit, right? But really just focus on getting specific things done, because now we're in the fourth quarter, bro. We're in the fourth quarter. It's October. We got 2 months left of the year, and a lot of people, majority of people will say, oh, I wanted to do certain things, I want to get stuff done, and they never get that stuff done. I've never, in most cases, I've never really fell into that that instance where I have not achieved specific things that I said I was going to get done at the beginning of the year, unless it's just so far out there to where, it's, some people say it's delusional, but sometimes you have to be delusional to really see how far you can go, that kind of stuff, man. But I had specific goals that I had set for this year, man, and I'm actually pretty damn close, but we're not there yet. So all these little, things to the side, that stuff can wait, bro. That stuff can wait. If people are really meant to be in your life, if people are really meant to stick around. Well, that stuff can wait. That stuff can wait, especially when you're in that season, man. That's what I'm saying. And when it comes to new people, man, I'm in a place where I have my friends, the people that I can really, say these are people that we sticking with long term, unless something comes out of the left field and you're saying, okay, well, I mean, you have the emotional intelligence enough to say, I'm not about to crash out. I'm not about to do stuff that is going to jeopardize my future. I mean, if this is how it was, then move on, bro. Distance yourself. Move on. They try to come back in your life. Hey, you did X, Y, and Z. Move on, bro. Distance yourself. That's on you. That's not on me anymore. But I'm always open to new relationships, building with new people, talking to new people. That's what it's about. That's part of the game too, man. You can't expect to move forward by yourself in most cases. You can't expect to move forward in most cases by yourself. So I'm always down to, connect, meet new people. That stuff is cool. But you have to get to a point where you have to be at a point where you understand when it becomes too much, or when this is starting to pull me out of a direction too much that I don't want to be moving into. And that's really what it is, bro. That's really all it is. That is really all it is. Because people will pull you in so many different directions if you allow them to. Hey, you want to do this? Hey, XYZ is happening. Hey, you want to do this? And when you get the older you get, the more you get to know certain people, you don't have time for everybody. And the people that are, meant to, again, be in your life, are the people that genuinely want to build that connection with you and want to see where it goes. Those people will stick around, bro. Those people will stick around. And those are the people that, you can kind of say, this is something we could possibly build. Because it's never feeling good if it's a one side thing. But when you have those seasons, those people that kind of stick around through those and kind of say, okay, bro seems to be doing stuff, he seems to be busy, cool, and they find themselves reaching out again, a little bit a lot longer later on, when you're kind of having a little bit more free time or whatever, and they check in and that kind of stuff. Those are the people, man. Those are people that you're like, okay, you know what, this might be somebody I could possibly get to know on the next scale, you know, and it's that stuff, man. But overall, really just balance, because this week I felt really overwhelmed, because I was saying a lot of people have stuff going on, don't have time for it, bro. Don't have time for it. When I get to a position, when I get to a point internally where that anxiety starts coming up and you start feeling like, bro, hold on a second, man. I got too much stuff going on at the moment. We need to take a step back, make that internal executive decision. We need to take a step back from a lot of this stuff and remember that there are certain goals I want to be hitting by the end of the year. And even if I don't, I know that I actually made a genuine effort to do so. It's not, okay, I could have cut time down here. I could have cut time down here. Why the hell was I spending so much time running all over the damn place when I could have, pushed that out a little bit more and actually dial in on the priorities. So that's really what it is, bro. That's all it is. You got to be aggressive with your time. Otherwise, people will pull you in different directions before you know it. You don't have time for the stuff you want to do in the specific time that you want to do it. And that's what it is, man. That's what it is. I mean, it's being being exposed to something enough gives you. It's funny. It's not even funny. It's just amazing how our bodies can adapt when you allow yourself to, and you really make a concerted effort to improve and work on yourself. Being exposed to a lifestyle, or not even a lifestyle, being exposed to stuff where your life is giving you a lot of responsibilities, over time you know how to manage that. You learn how to manage that. It doesn't become as difficult as you grow. If you're working on yourself, life doesn't become, I'm sure you've heard it plenty of times, life doesn't become easier. And many times it becomes harder, but you become stronger going through certain things, and you're able to manage those difficulties easier. And that's what it is. But when it gets to a point where you know for a fact you are not going to be as productive, or you're not going to be making as much progress because so much things are pulling you in different directions, and these are things you can control, not the realities that things you can't really control and you kind of have to work through. Those are different. But when it's things that you can't control, bro, you got to be aggressive with your time. You got to be selfish. That's something, you got to be selfish with your time. At the end of the day, if you aren't valuing your time, you still can't blame other people. It's your time. You can't blame other people. It's on you. Because if people pull you at all these different places, and then you say at the end of the year or whatever, whenever when too much time passes by, and you're saying, man, I didn't get any of this done. Oh, it's all these other people's fault. No, mother, it's on you. It's on you. You didn't make the time. You weren't aggressive with your time. At the end of the day, those same people sometimes are going to be blaming you too, because, hey, you could have told me. You could have communicated. You could have made time for yourself. So that's what it is. And that's really what it is, man. At the moment, I feel a bit of being a little bit overwhelmed with sometimes, all these different external stuff that, you don't really need to commit to right now. And kind of got to get back grounded and say, hey, These are the responsibilities, the priorities. Let's get these done. And if you don't feel like you can manage this other stuff, or you don't feel like you have time for that, hey, the people who are there for you will stay there for you. The people that are meant for you to stay in your life will stay there. You'll get through it. That's what it is. So we are going to make the necessary changes, whatever needs to be worked on, man, and we're gonna get back into it because it's crazy, man.